Hello!
Hey, it's Naomi.
And Jack.
And welcome to our channel.
So, what are we talking about today, Naomi?
We're going to be talking about the day Jack asked my parents for my hand in marriage.
I didn't ask them. I told them. I knew what I was going to do.
My man's brave.
I was not brave. I was scared. I was really scared. So I decided that I was going to propose to Naomi back in March, I think it was. And I had it planned out that I was going to propose to her when we went on holiday after our exams. So we'd arranged to go on holiday in June, I think, or July, just after our exams had finished. And I thought it'd be really nice. We love going on holiday. I thought it'd be lovely to arrange to propose on holiday. So there was quite a long time between me deciding to propose, getting a ring made. We'll do a whole nother video about the engagement process and everything. But I had to keep it a secret. I didn't want to tell too many people because I didn't want Naomi to find out before. So it was all big secret.
I had no idea.
I did a good job of keeping it quiet. But I knew that I wanted to ask, or at least tell Naomi's parents my intentions and hope. I was going to ask them for their blessing. I wasn't necessarily asking them for Naomi's hand in marriage. I'd already decided I was going to ask her to marry me. I was just hoping.
So what if my parents said no?
Well, I was hoping that they were going to bless it. And I didn't really think about what would happen if they didn't. I was just hoping that they would bless it. And they did. They blessed me. So it was fine. Now, Naomi's parents, they were aware of me as Naomi's friend, as someone. I'd been around the house, I'd come for dinner. I'd helped decorate Naomi's room. So they were aware of me as a person. As a friend. And Naomi's mum had made little comments every now and then about marriage, hadn't she?
Yeah. But so, not to you.
Not to me, no, but to Naomi. So there were some, I don't know, maybe there were some little seeds in their minds already for me to work with.
They were no seeds. They had no idea, Jack. They didn't know who you were and why you were coming to the house.
No. So I didn't know Naomi's parents well enough, or they didn't know me well enough for me to just call up and be like, hi, I need to come over and speak to you. So I enlisted the help of Naomi's sister, Elaine, to set up a meeting. So this was just a couple of days before we were going to go away on holiday, and I said, Elaine, I need to make sure your parents are in so I can come by and speak to them. I ended up having to tell Elaine why it was. I really didn't want to do that because I know Elaine's not very good at keeping secrets, and she was going to be excited. She was very excited, and she almost gave the game away, but she didn't. So anyway, she basically just told her parents, Joe and Sylvia, that someone was coming over to speak to her. Coming over to speak to them. I came over, knocked on the door, and I had no idea. I'd never been so nervous in my entire life. I already had bought the ring. I was never nervous about any of that kind of stuff. I was nervous knocking on the door of Naomi's parents' house. No idea what to expect. Knocked on the door, and they opened. They're like, "Oh, Jack, welcome, come in, hello." I didn't know whether they were expecting me or not, but anyway, they welcomed me in, and I was like, "Oh God!" And Sylvia offered me a cup of tea. And I thought, okay, yeah, a cup of tea is nice. In hindsight, bad idea. Don't accept tea, because tea comes with waffles, unexplained. Anyway, so we go into the living room and we sit down. And another downside to me saying yes to the tea was that I had to make small talk with Joe while Sylvia was in the kitchen making tea. What do you chat about to the person you're about to marry's father in their living room before you're about to ask them when they have no idea? What do you chat about?
Because I guess all he wants to know is why the hell are you here?
Yeah. So I'm there chatting to him about football, as you do.
You really came all this way to just chat about football?
Yeah. So it felt like a long time passed while Sylvia was making this cup of tea.
Oh, God.
What?
I just feel so bad for you.
Yeah. So anyway, finally Sylvia comes in with the tea. She gives it to me, and I see there's a whole plate of waffles and food, and I just eat it, and I was thinking, oh God, I've got to eat the food, because I've got to be polite, because I'm going to ask them to marry their daughter. I've got this food, and the tea was really hot and everything.
Basically, guys, for those of you who don't understand, Africans want to give you something when you come. So he said tea, but my mum was like, oh, right, I don't have biscuits. So she gave him a stack of waffles.
It's not what I signed up for. I was just being polite. Everyone was trying to be polite. I was polite taking a cup of tea. Sylvia was polite giving me food. Too much politeness. Anyway, so I'm there with this plate of waffles and a cup of tea. Sylvia and Joe sat down in front of me, and I was like, right, so I suppose you're wondering why I'm here. Yeah, and I think I said something like, as you know, I've known Naomi for a while. Been kind of vague about that. And I think in my head I was just thinking, like, friends, rip the Band-Aid off. You've just got to do it. So I was just like, I can't even remember what I said right now, but I just said something like, and she's been a great influence on my life, and I think she's a very special woman, something like that. and I'd like to ask her hand in marriage. And that was about it. And then I just sort of looked at them, and Joe looked at me. And
as you do.
and he was obviously, I think, taken aback by that. And there was a pause, a moment of silence. Sylvia bowed her head. And I was thinking, oh God.
You've broken her.
Oh God. What did he say? In the end, he was very accepting, was your father. Mm. He was very friendly and very welcoming. And although it caught him off guard, he was positive. He was positive about me. Said he thought I was a nice guy. And in the end of the day, Joe was very pleased that I came and asked him. I think he saw that as a sign of good character. And he appreciated that. So yes, Joe had just finished saying all these nice things to me, and then sort of we both were waiting for Naomi's mum to say something. So we sort of both looked at her, and she still sat there with her head down, not saying anything, and I was sort of there waiting. And at this point, I didn't know how to address Naomi's parents, so I didn't really want to say their names or anything because they'd never been introduced to me. So there was a moment where I think Joe and I both realised Sylvia wasn't going to say anything at this point. So he turned to me and just started saying more nice things, like, thank you for coming to us, blah, 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 blah. It's nice that you want to marry my daughter. And I was like, yeah, it is. But inside I'm thinking, oh God, what does Sylvia think? Does she not like it? And whatever. And I was, oh my God. And then Joe started talking about culture, which is, I suppose, a natural concern. African father, who's this white man in my house wanting to marry my daughter. So he just brought up, he was like, we have different cultures, and it's important to respect that. He was like, and you've started on the right foot by coming to me and speaking to me first. So thank you. And I was like, yes, I understand that. I want to be respectful of that. And so after that little interlude, both Joe and I sort of thought, okay, it's definitely Sylvia's time to talk. So Joe sort of turns to Sylvia and was like, do you have anything to add? And head down. Not a word. Didn't even acknowledge. So Joe and I looked at each other again, and we're like, okay. Then we just sort of tried to carry on with a little bit of small talk, and then we just hear Sylvia start sort of like speaking hush tones under her breath with her head down, and then Joe was like, is there something you want to add? And she was like, all we can do is pray. And I was like, oh no, what does that even mean? It's like she thinks what hope do we have? Who is this guy? Then basically the conversation came to a natural end. But here's me with my boiling hot tea still and a stack of waffles, and I'm like, crap, I want to get out of here, but I'm like, I can't just ditch the waffles and run. I was like, I don't know, so there's me trying to eat these waffles quickly, drinking this tea while it's too hot, burning my mouth. I'm like, I need to get out of here. I was like, this is good, let's end on a high. As soon as we stopped talking about me proposing or getting married or anything, then Sylvia just started talking to me again. So it's like, she's like, oh, how's your sister? How are you? How's life? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm good. You know I asked you to marry your daughter. You didn't say anything, but yeah, I'm good.
My sister's good too.
Yeah, she's fine, yeah. But yeah, so that was kind of odd. So then said goodbye, and then I left.
That's how he asked my parents. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. My mum said, no friends, no boyfriends until your husband is coming to marry you. I don't want to see a boy. I was like, so what? Am I just meant to walk in the street and then someone's meant to be like, hey girl, I want to marry you, and then I bring him to my yard?
Yeah, poof, out of nowhere, here's a Jack and he's going to marry your daughter.
And then you're silent. Yeah, you have nothing to say. You're like, what?
Scariest moment of my life. I thought my heart was going to jump out my chest then.
My tip as well, which Jack did, is wait till the last minute. My parents took me to my exam. They drove me. And my dad was like, do you know who's coming to the house? Elaine said she was expecting someone. I was like, no, who's coming? And then like a couple of days later, I was like, oh yeah, who was that person that came to the house? And my parents actually, on them.
They covered it up, didn't they?
They did. They were like, oh, it was just a delivery. She just wanted us to wait for a delivery. But then the day before...
They got my back.
Do you have your back, Jack? The day before I went on holiday, my sister was like, oh my god, you're totally going to get married first.
Elaine, one job.
If Jack asked you to marry him, do you think you'd say yes? I had no idea what she was talking about. And she was just like, oh my god, I love you so much. And kept kissing me. And I was like, this girl is very weird.
Somehow she didn't cotton on, so we were lucky. And of course, the biggest tip of all, don't accept any hot beverages that you can't drink quickly, because this can get awkward real quick.
Please tell us about the time you had to ask for the hand in marriage. Do you think it should be done away with? Because a lot of people think that we shouldn't do that anymore. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you found this video entertaining or useful.
As always, subscribe, notifications,
Click
all
that
the
bell.
usual stuff. For now,
Bye!
bye.